So one thing that I've noticed is when I push it, now I only have 45 pounds on it, but if I push it up here, it wants to nosedive immediately. So I have to grab a little bit lower. Sliding on concrete's no problem. But one thing I actually hate is the belt. And I was just thinking, because the problem I have is you have this nice, that's about 5 inches, I'm guessing, of webbing. And then it tapers down about 2 inches. Makes sense. In theory, should feel good, but under a certain amount of load, and just me going back and forth 4 times, it holds here, and I'm pulling, and then it slides, which usually wouldn't be a big deal. But now this just squeezes you, and it's kind of uncomfortable. It's not unbearable, but it's uncomfortable compared to the usual setup that I do. I was just wondering, if I put a knot here, would that help? Maybe that's something that it would catch. Let's find out, shall we? Or you could take a dip belt and a lashing straps or straps that you get from your rings, and it works even better than this. For as expensive as a belt that this is, I shouldn't really have to do this. Dip belt anywhere between $25 to $40. Lashing straps, you can get a pack of 4 for $10. You're in business. This belt is fucking a little awkward just to manipulate. And so far, I'm not happy with it. I'm sure someone else is, but I'm not. Okay, so that might have fixed it. Let's find out. All right, so that seemed to work. Play around more with that. So usually when I do sled work, though, I use a suspension trainer. Most of the time, you don't have a belt. So we're gonna try that. All right. So over time, with that being nylon, I can see that being a problem. But as long as I loosen it up as I slide it around, that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. So over time, if I was to pull on and keep constant tension as I slide around, that'll be a problem. But if I just loosen it up and move it around, that's not really going to wear down on that nylon. Could just simply, oh, interesting. All right, see, this is why we play around with things. This doesn't open up enough to be on this bar. About this. But on that keyhole it does. So that's an option. If I'm doing drags one way and pushing the other, that should be fine. Let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Let's try this way. Ooh, that's much harder on the quads. So far, everything feels okay with 45 pounds on concrete. Learned a few things using the suspension trainer on this particular one. Now we're going to add weight. Let's find out, shall we? Still piece of cake. Let's keep stacking plates. So that's 90, 70. That's only 160 pounds. Not really bad. Okay. Get a little bit more. You can see that. Just want to kind of fishtail back and forth. Oh, that's hard. after going back and forth several times, I'm curious what the bottom of this the skids look like. Again, I've never messed with a sled actually on concrete or asphalt. Slid way better than I thought it would. So let's see how tore up the bottom is. Oh, actually not that bad. You can kind of see, I mean, they look deep, but they're very superficial. Probably went up and down the concrete no less than 20 times, maybe more. This is from the grass. Interesting.
Here you can see where the sled wants to go back and forth in the fishtail. And it's not just because I used this strap. It was doing much worse with the belt and carabiner that the sled comes with. One thing I tried is taking the strap and putting it around the handle. And although this did help with the fishtailing, through longer drags, the strap was actually slowly sliding up the poles. Option number 3 was the best of both worlds. One downside, it did take almost the entire length of that strap though.
So, one of the final tests I'm gonna do with this is basically see how much I can push with this. We'll do the math afterwards. The post actually is about like right here. So I put as many bumper plates as I could. And then the 100-pound sandbag. So, we'll see how this goes. All right, now that we're at the end of the video, we're going to give the Shogun sled a score. So I asked ChatGPT to conduct a scoring system for products, fitness products specifically, not only that I can use for this product, but also moving forward other products. And these are the categories it spit out for me. So we have build quality and durability, functionality and performance, comfort and ease of use, versatility, value for its price, design or aesthetics, who it's best for. Now, out of this is 100 points in total. I'm going to use my notes here in order to keep me on track. But for build quality and durability, it has out of 20 points. I gave the Shogun 20 out of 20. It is built fantastic. Some criteria I'll just list off real fast. Does it feel premium? Yes. Will it survive heavy use? I feel like I can throw this out of my truck, throw some plates on it, and push it and just go to town. It's great. Are the materials solid? Yes. Every bit of it feels like it's going to last a very long time over heavy use. Now, only time will tell, but it feels that way. Any weak points? None that I can tell, besides the bottom of the skids. They're going to wear out, though. That's something you expect to eventually wear out. You are scraping material away slowly. And stitching, welds, grips, coating quality. The coating on it is fantastic. I love the coating on it. The belt quality is great. The stitching's great. It feels like a toe strap. And I feel like I can hook one into my Jeep, the other to my truck, and it would be just fine. I gave it a 20 out of 20. Outstanding. Functionality and performance. This is again out of 20 points.
I gave it 17 out of 20. Now, why? I've said it a lot, the belt. I hate the belt. Although I just raved about the build quality of the belt, it was a great plan, great idea, poor execution, kind of one of those things. It feels great until you use it, and then when it cinches up, it feels uncomfortable. And if it's uncomfortable, you're less likely to use it. And if you're not going to use it, it is useless. Just how it is. Also, the nosedive, because of how short the sled is, when I push up on the handles at the very top, it wants to nosedive right away. So that forces you to come about halfway down on the handles and start pushing. Now, I did find over time that if you get it going, then you can scoot your hands up while pushing it, and it works just fine. But it's that initial push, you cannot push it at the very top. And then it doesn't slide on grass. Now, one thing I specifically got this sled for is to push it and pull it on grass. I want to do all my sled work on a flat part of my yard that I was very excited to use. And then, as you saw in the beginning of the video, I pushed it, nothing happened until I took the poles off. Now, yes, you can drag it on there, but again, I want this to be a push-pull kind of sled, not just a drag sled. If I just want to drag something, I'll hook up a belt to one of my sandbags and drag it across the grass. I'd rather do that and just save my money. But outside of those three things, function is fantastic. It's a sled. You can push it, you can pull it, you can drag it, you can hook multiple different tools up to it and utilize it. So I gave it a 17 out of 20. Next one is comfort of use, and they, out of 15 points, I gave it a 12. 12 out of 15. Why? It's heavy. And that seems like it would be like, no duh, it's a sled. But I'm not used to sleds being this heavy. It would be a pain in the butt to actually move and relocate it. I dread every time I actually have to pick it up, put it in my truck, and relocate it to the next place. I do not want my wife to lift it up, not because she physically can't. I don't want her to hurt herself, nor do I want anybody else to hurt themselves trying to transport. Now, if you're just simply pushing the sled from point A to point B to let it sit in its home, and then I'm going to use it and push it from point B to point A, and it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Another thing that I kind of deducted points on is the handles. The handles were a little close. For me personally, when I went to grab the sled, they're about right there at my collarbones. I could still put my head in there and push, but I'm used to a sled where I can actually almost get my shoulders inside of it. Again, not that big of a deal, but it did feel a little cramped, a little tight. I'm a wider guy. And again, comfort and ease of use, I hit the belt. I don't like the belt. It is a little awkward to get it started, to get it set up, and then when you clip it in, it's great until it cinches around you. Can you still drag the sled? Yes. Circling back on the function, I forgot about this. In the video, I showed where the sled actually kind of gets a little squirrely, especially when you're pulling it with some straps, or if you're walking really fast, it gets a little squirrely. I'm not going to deduct a point off of that because that's just because the size of the sled itself. And it's only when you use it in one direction. When you're pushing, there's no squirreliness whatsoever. But I forgot to add that. Some of the markers it asks for comfort of use. Is it comfortable to use? Yes. Easy to set up. It came already put together when I pulled it out of the box. I actually expected to have to put some things together and didn't. So that was a nice surprise. Beginner friendly. Yes, I actually love using sleds for beginners because everybody can push and pull, and it's very low impact on the joints. So it's great for my older clients as well. Easy to carry, store, and use. Store, yes, it takes a small footprint. You can easily push it underneath a rack or into the corner of the gym. It doesn't take much room, and you can even just stack plates on it or have it hold stuff while it's not in use. Again, as said earlier, it is super heavy though. The next category is versatility, and this is out of 15 points. I gave it 15 out of 15. This is probably the most versatile sled I've used. Now, I've only used 2 other sleds until this one, but it is fantastic. Not only can I use it outside, inside, on turf, on asphalt, I haven't used it on gravel yet, but you can push, you can pull, you can drag, you can walk back, you can hook multiple different tools up to it, like the suspension trainer that we saw, and that's usually how I set up the sled for myself. That way I can work on my pulling and heavy drags instead of only relying on my legs. But very versatile. Some of the criteria it asked for was multiple exercises used. Yes, not only can I push it, pull it, drag it, but some sleds you can only drag it. There's no handles. And some you have to, it only has hookups so you can push it. They don't have a location where you can actually hook up something to drag it back. So you have to get a little bit MacGyvering. Not that big of a deal for me, but it's nice that it's already set up. It's just a plug and play. Works for different skill levels. Yes, from beginner to athlete to expert, the sled is great. Useful for home gyms and commercial gyms. Yes, again, I got it actually just for me and my home gym, but I took it to work at a commercial gym and it worked flawlessly. In fact, I might try to convince my boss to get this because it is a smaller footprint than the one we have at the gym. Travel friendly? Not really. No, it's not travel friendly. Unless you're meaning you're traveling from pushing to point A to point B. Then it's pretty travel friendly. So out of versatility, 15 out of 15. The next bit is value for this price. Now, with this, I did compare some of the other sleds that you might be looking at when comparing these. Now, these are dog sleds, meaning you can push and pull on these sleds. So the first one that pops up is the Rogue dog sled. They have a 1.0 and a 1.2. The 1.2 is way better than everything I've seen reviews on, but you can do the same stuff as you can the Shogun. It prices at $335. Plus, if you want a wraparound rack, just like the Shogun has, that's another $95. You have the Rep Fitness, which is a bigger footprint actually than the Shogun, which is $462 with no wraparound rack. The PRX has a sled, is $314. It is the lowest sled on this list, but it also doesn't have a wraparound rack. Then there's the Titan Pro. It is $445. It does not have a wraparound rack. It is just a push and pull drag sled. And almost all of these don't have the capability that the Shogun does, meaning I can remove that pole and put it off to the side and put a sandbag. All of them have a pole there, and you might be able to remove it. I truly don't know, but usually there's some kind of screw you have to loosen up or pull out. If I'm wrong and you actually own or have operated one of these sleds, let me know in the comments. I would love to know that. Or tell any of those manufacturers, send me a sled. I would love to play with them and do a review on them. And how much did I pay for the Shogun sled? Well, the Shogun sled for the whole package that I got was only $331. So 15 out of 15, it is well worth the value of its price. Some of the criteria it does go into this. Is it worth the money? Yes, 100%. Long-term value, this is going to last me a long time. The only thing I'm going to have to swap out is the skids, but that's not really that big of a deal. You kind of go into this knowing that already. Comparable alternatives. I just compared some of the other ones, and it comes on the second lowest of price range, but also gives it the most value. Now, I had to wait an absurdly long time for this sled, but if we're just talking apples to apples, it's well worth it. Fair pricing? Yes. Very fair for what they charge. The next section is design or aesthetics. This one means less for me. When you're using something, you do want it to look pretty. Like this squat rack. If it was all rusted, I wouldn't have bought it. But it still had a really nice finish on it. It is what I wanted and it looks good. So that's going to make me feel good using it. 8 out of 10. Again, for the design, does it look professional? Yes, it looks professional. It's going to get beat up, which is going to make it look even more rugged, in my opinion. Clean branding on both sides. It has the nice Shogun logo on both sides. It looks good. Color design and choices. Black goes with everything. Moving on. Motivating to use. So if something actually looks good or you look good using it, it's going to motivate you to use it more. Whenever I'm using a sled, whether this sled or the sled at work, I enjoy it either way. Now, again, I did knock off 2 points with this because as a whole package, comparing the sled as the whole package that I got, which is the sled, the wraparound cage, the belt, and the poles, I gave it an 8 out of 10. The handles, again, as stated earlier, is a little bit more narrow for my comfort. Wham. The belt, I hate the belt. I'm not going any more on the belt.
8 out of 10 for the design. And then who is this best for? This is out of 5 points. Is the consumer that is marketed to going to use this product? Beginner, yes. If you're getting into sled work, this is a great option, as long as you're not pushing on grass, as stated earlier. Strength athlete, yes. If you play any kind of sports, this is going to help you practice your heavy sled drags, your sled pushes, your acceleration, your deceleration, your strength. Home gym owner, I got it for me as my home gym sled, and it's going to do great. Again, it's a small footprint, so it's going to stow away fantastic. It's not going to take a lot of room, which is in the home gym community is a very precious commodity. Functional fitness user, I'm sure you all have heard of Knees Over Toe Guy. He swears by the sled. And if anybody's going to use it for knee health or rehabilitation, it's good for that as well. So 5 out of 5. So add up all the points, and we get a 92 out of 100. Oh no, not bad. Very, very nice. Would I get this sled again? I would get it again. It's definitely worth the value. There's a few things I don't like about, but nothing's going to be perfect. It's a give and take with all these things. So out of 92, rated very highly recommended and elite for the scoring system. What'd you all think, guys? Did you like the review? Did you think I was fair on the review and the points? Did you like the score system? Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions on how you like using the sled, or how you would like me to use the sled in these videos. Let me know. I'm Tony with Apex Fitness. Have a great day.